Hello, Galaxy. I'm Chris Pirillo, and you're watching the Locker Room Daily Report, or TLDR for short. I am geeking out every night live on Twitch. Feel free to join me and the rest of the community over there tonight, if you so choose. I have been testing the Pixel 6 Pro, or as I call it, the Pastel 6 Pro, specifically pitting its camera against other contemporary device cameras. Tonight I'm going to be showcasing photos taken with the Pixel 6 Pro and comparing those against the photos taken from the iPhone 13 Pro Max. It's a lot of names bopping around in my head. I'll be doing a couple of other videos like this, specifically tomorrow doing a comparison between the Pixel 6 Pro and the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, so stay tuned for that. This may be a long one, so I'm going to go ahead and try to turn my attention ever so slightly to my desktop over here, and theoretically, it worked! I love when things work. Let's go ahead and just jump in with Autumn. Unfortunately, I did not get the device, the Pixel 6 Pro, on time, so a lot of the leaves disappeared. I didn't get a lot of good nature shots, in my humble opinion. This photo was taken on the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and then this one on the Pixel. So there's the iPhone and the Pixel. Between the two, I think I like the sky color. It's a bit more vibrant on the iPhone camera. I didn't do too much pixel peeping versus the color and the saturation on the Pixel. I like the boldness on both. And you know, when I talk about these shots, I may have my preference, but keep in mind it's totally subjective. You may appreciate completely different shots. In some cases, like, it's a wash. In other cases, in my humble opinion, the difference is pretty dramatic, but it all comes down to a matter of choice. So these two images were taken with the zoom lens, the 3x on the iPhone, and the 4x on the Pixel 6 Pro. Not too many differences apart from color. Moving on to the next shot, again, Autumn. We have a nice red leaf tree and another red leaf tree. Went with the zoom shot again between the two, iPhone and Pixel. You can definitely see the difference between the colors, and in my humble opinion, very humble opinion, I think I like the balance more on the Pixel shot than the iPhone shot. And let's go ahead and just zoom in, let's say, on this leaf up here, and then zoom in on this leaf over here. Not exactly perfect in a complete match, but you can see the over sharpening on the iPhone camera, still prevalent on iOS 15.1. And the Pixel, in my humble opinion, did not over-sharpen the leaves. And this is something that I saw over and over again with the iPhone in other comparisons, but even today, and especially compared to the Pixel shots. I find that the Pixel took a better picture between these two. Going indoors to some fruits, we've got apples and pineapples and limes and lemons. And between the two, the iPhone was actually a bit more vibrant, this shot, compared to the Pixel. The Pixel was a bit more muted. I wouldn't say there were too many other differences between the two. Let's go Pixel peeping. Literally, that was the Pixel. I gotta stop saying 4XL. That was the Pixel 6 Pro. This is the iPhone. And so the iPhone, you can see, as I zoom in on this particular sticker, starts to get the depth of field, versus the Pixel. This is something I also noticed. I wouldn't say the depth of field was dramatically different. It's just that the Pixel tends to create a more flat image over and over, especially when you're talking about objects in the frame that are at various lengths. So between the two, despite the iPhone having probably a more vibrant color, well, ostensibly, I think I preferred, me personally, the Pixel shot, because I like clearer, sharper images, because I feel I can always go in and boost color. But that just comes down to a matter of taste and preference. Let's look at some iPhone flowers and some Pixel flowers. Wouldn't say there are too many differences between these two shots. I think anybody would be hard-pressed to tell you the difference. If anything, I would say that the iPhone's darker areas are definitely darker than the darker areas in the Pixel. You can tell, like, directly underneath the flowers. Let's go ahead and do some pixel peeping, which they tell you never to do. Well, I don't know why. There's the iPhone, and it's got this sharpening effect that is just just clearly iPhone versus the Pixel. So both are sharp, but I would say that the iPhone is actually a softer sharpness, or perhaps over sharpened, versus the Pixel. And you can tell with the leaves specifically, or the petals, not leaves, in this flower as well as this one. The iPhone tends to lose detail, and the Pixel definitely keeps it. So between the two, color being about the same to the eye, the Pixel definitely had a sharper shot indoors. That's not a surprise, because the iPhone has been performing this way for quite some time. Now this is an interesting shot. I don't know why I just like taking pictures of Star Wars figures, probably because I love Star Wars. But I set up the shot with the 4X lens on the Pixel here, as well as the 3X lens on the iPhone. And both of them had issues with, what, is it the 3X lens? Now I've forgotten. I'm using the iPhone right now. My face is being streamed into the camera by way of the iPhone connected to my PC. Anyway, the lens, the optical lens that I use for zooming on both the Pixel and the iPhone had troubles sticking with that lens. It automatically wanted to flip to a different lens. Like, I didn't want a different lens. I wanted the zoom lens, because I was looking to focus specifically on the Stormtrooper, not the tree in the background. But both of these cameras had issues with the shot. So in order to get this shot, the reason why it's not perfectly balanced, or as better balanced between the two, is because I had to wait for the lens to flip in software, take the picture real quick before it toggled to a lens I didn't want to use. So that was very frustrating. I'm going to zoom in on the Stormtrooper helmet on the iPhone, which I thought took a pretty good shot, and then the Pixel. And so between the two, the iPhone and the Pixel, I feel the Pixel did a far better job with not making the whites too white and the darks too dark. Preserved about the same amount of detail, but I think the Pixel edged it out ever so slightly between the two shots. I thought both were viable, but if I had a choice, I would definitely choose the Pixel over the iPhone. You could tell there's dirt on both of these Stormtrooper armors, like specifically the chest plate, but it's definitely a little more pronounced, as well it should be on the Pixel shot. Jedi decided to share her love. She drew this kissy face emoji. This is the iPhone and the Pixel. Now this is a yellow sticky, and granted it's not controlled indoor lighting like right now, but this is pretty much the color of the sticky. This is a different, as I said, a different lighting environment, as opposed to just using, this was indoors, but the window was open, so this would have been daylight. And between the two, while both were relatively muted, I feel the iPhone made the sticky more green than yellow. So this is a muted yellow, but it's at least closer to yellow versus having something that just looks very, very green in this particular shot. I feel both of them did a decent job holding on to the texture, but the iPhone, I felt, you can see the iPhone sharpening, did a better job with retaining the texture between the two. Though the color, I feel, even though it's very muted, is closer to yellow versus the way the iPhone handled it, and it looks more green. This is an indoor nightscape, night shot, night mode, where the hell you call it. This is the iPhone, wide angle. This is the Pixel 4X 6 Pro, wide angle, indoors, night sight, both maxed out, as much light as could be let in. And as we've seen with the iPhone to this point, it doesn't really handle these types of scenes very well. I feel the Pixel did a fantastically better job pulling out a lot of the details in the darker areas versus just retaining the dark areas as dark. I'm going to go ahead and pop in on the Stormtrooper here and show you that the iPhone, I feel, blew out the whites in this environment versus the Pixel, which didn't blow things out. Kept things maybe a little sharper on the Pixel, or at least the detail was pulled out a bit more. You can tell, in certain objects here, what was drawn out and what wasn't. I'm going to scroll over here to the door, because this is another area that I looked at. This is potentially a tricky shot, but I didn't think that tricky. I wanted to see how well it handled HDR, and there's it's textured glass over there by the entrance, and I feel that between the Pixel and the iPhone, the Pixel did a better job with HDR than the iPhone did in this particular shot. Again, both using wide-angle lenses indoors, night shot. There's some amount of blurriness around both of the edges, but between the two, look at this folder specifically, right here. Like, I would absolutely give it to the iPhone. Indoors, iPhone shot, and the Pixel, and look again, that textured glass. The Pixel had this artifact on the side here, light bleed, whatever you call it, like a halo kind of effect. What's the term? I'm not a pro photographer. I'm not a pro. I have a 6 Pro and a 13 Pro Max. That makes me a pro, right? I just know what I see. And between the two, I feel that the iPhone was a little muted, and the Pixel did a better job with the texture and HDR, again, using night sight or that type of night mode. Let's go ahead and zoom in on the Lego minifigures here specifically. There's the iPhone and the Pixel. iPhone, Pixel. And again, I think the Pixel, although I wasn't like terribly impressed, I feel that the Pixel, I walked away with a better shot on the Pixel, sharper, details pulled out in the dark, versus the darks just like blending in together. The black just blends in together. I've yet to be impressed with the iPhone photos in low light compared to other cameras, at least. So this is another challenging shot. There should have been a texture behind Jedi, and you'll see this in an upcoming photo comparison with the Pixel 6 Pro. There's the iPhone shot and the Pixel. This is where you can definitely see the difference between how a Pixel takes a picture or portrait, not portrait mode. I don't really use portrait mode because I think it's a gimmick. Pixel, iPhone. Pixel tends to be a bit darker, a bit more muted. I wouldn't say less accurate, but faces, at least Jedi's skin tone, she always turns out looking orange on the iPhone, which is mildly frustrating. I was pretty disappointed with both of these images, between both of these cameras, and between the two, I felt in this scenario, despite me preferring a contrasty shot, me personally, I feel the iPhone did a better job, despite the pumpkin-headed daughter. Gotta love the iPhone, don't you? Well, some of you do. There's a Furbaka. I got thrifting between the Pixel. You can see that the Pixel definitely skews cooler, and the iPhone warmer. This is without any kind of tweaks with defaults, by the way, on either camera. So between these two, I was really happy with the iPhone color. Very happy indoors. Just no artificial light. We're gonna go ahead though and zoom in on the Furbaka beak. And my feeling is that look at the eyes of the Furbaka. Even though I'm on one of them, let's see. Let me drag it over a tiny bit. Blurrier on the iPhone compared to the Pixel, like night and day. iPhone, Pixel. So between the two, despite it skewing cooler, which could always be adjusted, certainly in post, you can't salvage the lost details on the iPhone, but the Pixel takes a better shot. I still think the Pixel 6 Pro software needs a massive amount of improvement, specifically the camera, the photo output. I wasn't largely impressed with the photo output of the Pixel camera this time around, as I had been in the past. This is an iPhone shot as we were winding down Halloween at this point versus the Pixel. iPhone, more contrasty than the Pixel shot. The whites were a bit whiter on the iPhone, and the whites were a bit bluer, as I mentioned, cooler on the Pixel shot. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on McDonald's Happy Meal Blue Bucket. There's the Pixel. So we've got, it was trying to focus, elsewhere on the image. The iPhone, I felt balanced things better with focus. Both of them, I think, did an equal job with focus. So the iPhone, in this instance, I feel took a dramatically better shot between the two. Dramatically better shot. There's the outdoor selfie cam. Pretty much the same, apart from the Pixel having a wider angle selfie. And between the two, I feel that the iPhone retained my skin tone more true to life than the iPhone. The iPhone, I kind of look flat and the Pixel I've got a little more vibrancy to my skin, a little more. It's a little warmer, slightly warmer, despite being outdoors. In a wider angle, you're never going to hear me complain about, especially in relation to a selfie camera. You want a wide-angle selfie camera, in my humble opinion, because you always get someone else in the shot, or you can get a wider shot. Just check out those backgrounds. So between the two, I feel that the Pixel took a dramatically better shot than the iPhone, and they've been bragging about that too. I'm going to zoom in on my nose, because see what I'm saying? I just look flat. Like, everything's just, like, blended in. Like, I've got no texture on my nose. Versus here, you can see all sorts of stuff that you don't want to see on my face. Tricky-ish indoor shot. This is on the iPhone and the Pixel. The Pixel, shockingly enough, had a dramatically different depth of field than the iPhone. The iPhone looked flat in this instance. And you can tell by, just check out the blurriness or the depth of field on some of the objects in the background, apart from focusing specifically on the front Vader's nose. Same angle. I believe it was using the same lens. Between the two, I would absolutely give it to the Pixel in terms of a shot that I would care to keep. A more dramatic shot, providing a bit more focus to the foreground object. iPhone, Pixel. I don't know why I keep taking these types of shots, but it's just a thing. I'm watching Star Wars Biomes on Disney Plus, which is amazing. And wait a minute, did I may have accidentally not put the Pixel version of this on here. Okay, well, the iPhone didn't do a good job, and the Pixel did a better job. I don't know how else to explain it. Sorry, I thought I had drug everything in here. A minor shot, but both of them, both the Pixel and the iPhone struggled with HDR highlights on the TV, and the iPhone, as it's been seen to do, unfortunately did not pull up a lot of the details in the dark areas versus the Pixel, which handled the night mode better, despite still needing a fair amount of tweaking. I apologize. Indoor shelf of stuff. We've got the iPhone and the Pixel. I feel the iPhone had a better color in terms of truer to life. Warmer, cooler. iPhone, Pixel. We're going to pop in on 3PO here. And this is the iPhone and the Pixel. So between the two, I feel that, again, sharpness was pulled out more on the Pixel. And that was something that... It was hit or miss with both of these cameras, honestly. You could probably do a calculation at the end, you know, like, oh, this is what he liked more in this one, this is what he liked more in this one. I'm not sure I would grab either as a go-to, but I tend to like the Pixel shots more than the iPhone shots, if only because of the sharpness. Because, you know, once you lose those details, they're gone. You can always boost color in post. Another indoor shot, tricky with the window. We got some the Lego stuff. Both of them had a problem, as I've seen with both these devices with HDR. Both the Pixel and iPhone HDR stuff need a massive amount of tweaking. We're going to zoom in on the Death Star. And once again, you can see that the iPhone just loses a lot of the detail. That's the iPhone. That's the Pixel. And I think between the two, over and over and over again, the Pixel takes better indoor shots, especially in low light situations. Like, just the sharpness. If you just look at the minifigures, like right there, like, you know, you can tell the difference. Like, look at the shelf. Look at everything. The Pixel took a better balanced shot. Up close, these were pretty dramatically different. This is the iPhone, indoor lighting, but daylight. There's no artificial light. The Pixel image here was a bit flat compared to the iPhone, which was warmer and potentially truer to life. So this was an instance where I thought the iPhone took a better shot. See, like I said, sometimes it's the iPhone and sometimes it's the Pixel. Like, it's about as close to a wash as anything between these two cameras. At least right now, which, again, I didn't see. I thought the Pixel 4 XL did a better job than the iPhone 13 Pro Max when I did that video. And it's like almost neck and neck, in my humble opinion, between the 6 Pro and the iPhone 13, as I've been demonstrating. Which, again, tells you that both of them seem to have a lot of work to do in software. Post, computational photography. Jedi decided to do Darth Vader. And here's another example where I feel the iPhone did a better job than the Pixel. The darks were nicely dark, right? Like not a bad kind of dark. Like it was a good dark. How do you explain it? The blacks were it didn't get lost. You can tell that Jedi was wearing black versus again a less saturated shot here. Jedi's skin tone was probably truer to life on the Pixel than again a slightly orange or warmer shot here on the iPhone. I feel like the weeds behind Jedi got over sharpened on the iPhone versus the Pixel. So between the two, I'd probably choose the Pixel shot to save, even though I like the blackness and the rich brown in her hair on the iPhone. So the iPhone tends to do better with color, but the Pixel tends to do better with general sharpness in an image. We've got Diana and Jedi. Diana decided to go as a Stormtrooper. I explained to her afterwards. She's a Shadow Trooper Stormtrooper. She's a special kind of Stormtrooper. Very, very special. Super collectible. There's the Pixel shot and the iPhone shot. And once again, the blacks are very black on the iPhone versus the Pixel. But let's go ahead and take a closer look at that helmet. I feel many of the details are still there on both. But between the two, I like the texturing and the refraction, right? You can see like the stuff in her helmet bouncing off, reflecting. As opposed to the iPhone, it seemed to be it's there, but it's a bit more flat. It's like white versus a bit more nuanced. Both of them seem to handle depth of field the same as well between the two. And another area I was going to showcase is the BB-8, the bucket. Probably could have zoomed out a little different. Both of them I felt ran into a bit of a challenge with HDR. This shot may not be as dramatic as this one. This is a Pixel versus the iPhone, and it's almost like an unnatural HDR. It doesn't feel right with the iPhone versus the Pixel. Like it's a bolder HDR, like it hasn't figured out, oh, I know this is bright, so I better brighten it up, but not overexposed, and it just feels a bit more, the HDR feels a bit more natural on the Pixel versus the iPhone. Pixel, iPhone. So that is pretty much that. I know that, I have my eyes, you have your eyes. I can't say that either one of the phones' camera output necessarily impressed me. Maybe that'll change 6 months down the road after some software tweaks. But honestly, I gotta tell you, I've been pretty disappointed with the Pixel 6 Pro camera compared to the Pixel 4 XL. Like, seriously. Like, I don't know what they've improved in the Pixel camera, because they haven't necessarily released patches for it yet, because it's brand new. So maybe the Pixel camera output will be better 6 months from now. Maybe it'll be the same. I have no idea. Stay tuned for more camera comparisons between the two. All I'm doing is just showing you. The pictures are the pictures. I'm not biased. Well, we're all biased. It's the camera. The camera's biased. That's what's biased around here.